Magic with Zuby is the Magic the Gathering podcast to get your fill of the best trading card game around. Join me each week as we explore new topics and delve into how to become a better Magic player. We have various pro players as well as popular members of the Magic community come and join me as we discuss our favorite card game. Magic with Zuby is available on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and TuneIn Radio. So your father's a nerd.
Unfortunately, there's no player's guide to raising a family. But this podcast is meant to be a family's guide to nerdism.
Join us, Alec and Zuby, as we go in depth as to what it's like to raising a family of nerdlings and the adventures and hardships of fatherhood.
We dive deep into our favorite nerd topics and talk to you about how it's related to raising a family.
You can find So Your Father's a Nerd on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and TuneIn Radio.
Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of the VCR Gaming Podcast. I am your host, Matthew, and located south by northwest southeast of me is our other host, Matt. How you doing, Matt?
Wait, how am I south but southeast? Aren't I north of you?
Exactly.
You actually had me thinking, like, wait a second.
No,
what?
It's totally made up directions.
No. Yeah, man, what's up? It's Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday. Well, it's like Monday number 2.
Dude, it really is. I kept thinking today was Wednesday, and I'm like, oh yeah, we're getting paid tomorrow, and I get to pay all my bills, and
yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
fucking, that's about it.
Yeah,
no, not really. So everybody, we have a really cool episode for you tonight. As you notice, we're back together again. We're not taking a slow week this week. There's no holiday to be losers and lazy over. So this week we've got another special right in your faces. This is our Super Nintendo top 10s. So we'll get some of our normal business out the way, and then hang in for Zuby and I's lists and some banter, if you will.
Oh yeah, sounds good. I can't wait to talk about our top 10 Super Nintendo games of all time.
First, we're going to talk about what we think is best, and then we're going to fight. So it's going to be good.
Pretty
you guys
much.
hang in there. Yeah. All right. So, Zuby, how are you, sir? What's new?
Not much. I've been working a lot, and
You really have, too.
yeah, it sucks.
I almost feel bad.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't. But tonight, actually, I didn't work that late. I got out right before 6 o'clock. Because all we had to do was replace those marketing switches, and boom, we were out.
Freaked me out, man. I saw those switches go down, and then I was like, oh, that's right.
Yeah, but I'm on
Zuby's
call, so
actually working.
yeah, for once. Yeah, but other than that, did a lot of yard work over the weekend. Hung out with the family, and yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how my week's been so far. What about you, man?
Wow, we are about, not only do we share the same name, but I think we lived the same week. Mine's a little different. I haven't had to stay too late yet. I've been staying half hour or so late so far this week, but, I'm with you, Matt. I got to work, late 2 nights this week, and I think we're coming in Saturday for a bit, which is going to suck ass.
Oh, that's right. You're coming in with us on Saturday?
Yeah, team player,
Yeah.
especially as the team shrinks. We need to band together.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, for sure. But yeah, so been doing that. I did the same thing as you, man. I did yard work. I literally did yard work Saturday and Sunday. And I'm still not even done.
Oh, I'm not done either. It was
It's brutal,
the rain
dude.
stopped me.
The rain and the sweltering Florida, it's just not good, man. I have bugs, by the way, in my yard.
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me that. That sucks.
Yeah, they're eating the roots of my grass, and it's really depressing. So I got this poison, and I spread it all over the yard. It's probably not environmentally friendly or safe or vegan or any of that, but it had to be done, and I hope it kills all those little bastards.
Good. They deserve it. They don't deserve life.
I could not agree more. They probably play an important part in the ecosystem, but I don't give a shit. Not in my yard.
Yeah, not in your ecosystem.
Yeah, you don't bring that earth-friendly shit into my yard, okay? This is chemical land here. I want artificial green, okay? Anyways, but yeah, that's about it for me. Matt, you did not tell me what you were drinking, sir. What are you drinking on?
Oh, tonight I am drinking some great value purified drinking water, cold, straight from the refrigerator at a cool 40 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I don't know what the temperature of my refrigerator is. I made that up, but
just like Mama used to make. 40 is probably a good estimate. I think it's, I don't know fridge temps, but I would assume it's somewhere around there, right? You don't want it to be 32.
I ain't like no ice in my water.
Yeah, it's not cool. It's not water really at that point. It's it's changed states. Anyways, there's your science for the night.
That chemicals.
Yeah, that chemicals. Shit, man. I am drinking. I'm drinking on that Nestle Pure Life water. It is straight from the fridge in my garage. So Lord only knows what's actually on the outside of the bottle, but who cares? And then I have a backup drink, Matt. And this is where it gets interesting. And I want your thoughts on this.
Okay.
It's in a yellow can, and it is a Crush pineapple soda. How do you feel about pineapple soda? Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had pineapple soda. I mean, I love pineapple, but I don't think I've ever had pineapple soda before.
If you love pineapples, you would need to get your hands on some of this yellow drink.
Oh,
okay?
God.
Yellow
I
drink.
try to avoid soda at all costs, but now I'm intrigued.
Dude, pineapple soda, dude. It's yellow, like pee. It's good.
Yeah, I think I need some of this in my life now.
You know, if you ever needed to simulate urine, actually, now that I think about it,
just drink
might
Mountain
want to
Dew.
use pineapple soda. Or, well, Mountain Dew. Yeah. True.
Yeah.
But yeah. So,
what kind of
playing,
game,
bro? Oh, look at that. Same timesies. Okay.
Sync. Now let's go with you first.
Okay, that's cool. I think we're both excited to get to the Super Nintendo bit, so we're just trying to get through the normal business. Yeah, I've got a couple of games, so it's not going to take me very long, and I won't bore you with one of them because you guys hear about it every week so far now. I am on that Final Fantasy IX so hard that you'd think that it was fucking the year 2000 up in my house.
Where are you at in it?
Okay, so God, I'm really bad at remembering names of places. I don't even know if there is a name for where I'm at.
Are you still on disc 2?
I am on disc 2. However, I think I might be about to get to disc 3. And the only reason why I know is,
yet?
am I at the airship or did I get the airship?
Yeah, did you get the airship yet? The Hildegard?
I don't have it. I've been on it, but I don't have it yet. So I'm all right. They took Dagger, or the princess. They took her. She was gone for a while. And then we rescued her, broke her out of the fucking castle. And
you went back to Alexandria?
Yep, went back. And then we escaped through the tunnels again with the bug creature thing that has like the cart that carries you through the tunnels. And then it crashes because it gets goes out of control.
Dude, did you see the little FMV where they summon Bahamut and all that?
Yes.
That was so badass. I remember as a kid.
Cool.
It made me squirm a little bit because it was just so ridiculously awesome.
I really love the FMV stuff in these PS1 era Final Fantasies because it's not terrible. It almost has like a hand drawn graphic-y kind of feel to almost, I don't know, it's kind of nice. I kind of like it. It's a little artistic. But yeah, so I guess they stripped out all the things that Dagger can summon, and I can't remember the name of them. And I just got to where you have to find 4 or 5 hiding spots for this guy, and he's gonna essentially embody himself in Dagger, and then she can summon him. Magic. That's literally where I left off. I saved after I got him. You have to put a story together.
Oh shit! I know who you're talking about. Fuck, I forget his name. It's one of the Eidolons, right?
That's the word I couldn't think of. Eidolon. Yes, that's exactly right. And I said I wasn't going to talk a lot about this game, and I ended up fucking doing it. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh no, dude. I fucking love this game. It's because I have it on my phone, and when I finish one of the games, on my phone that I'm gonna be playing 9 again.
How many times have you played 9, Matt?
Not as many as say 6, 7, or even 8. I'd probably say maybe 2 or 3 times I've played through it.
Oh, good, man, good. That's so you'll still find new things and you'll forget stuff when you come back to it. That's fun.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot I remember. I mean, I still remember, the main storyline and all that, but I don't remember every single part, though.
You remember names of things much better than I do, and I'm the one playing it currently, so
yeah.
props there. But yeah, it's pretty cool. You know what I hate, though, about these games? And they're all the Final Fantasies are guilty of it, or at least most of them. Like, when your character gets... like, when a character kind of gets left out of your party for a while... They don't level up, like Dagger was sitting in the castle for a while.
Yeah.
And by the time you get her back, she's like 3 or 4 levels behind the rest of your characters. And like, there's no getting that deficit back. Like, yeah, you can continue to start leveling her up, but she's always going to be weaker than everybody else. It's like really freaking annoying.
Yeah, that is annoying, but that doesn't happen in every single Final Fantasy. I know like 7 and 6, when characters leave your party for a long while, they'll level up still. I mean, not as much as your character, but they'll still be, on par.
That's true. They do on 7, don't they? A little bit. Yeah, but they're never quite as far. And I noticed too, if you grind in 7, you'll be way ahead of them, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I think they have like a set level that they come up to.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like scaling, but yeah. So that's where I'm at with that. The other game is, you hate this, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Is
gonna be in disgust as you talk about it.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Except not. I played over the weekend. I actually opened up my sealed copy of Mighty Number 9. I made that sound way more glamorous than it is. I think I paid $8 for it at Target. But for those of you who don't know, Mighty Number 9 is the spiritual, I'm doing air quotes, successor to Mega Man, the Mega Man series. It's made by the same gentleman who made the Mega Man games when he left Konami. Konami?
Kaiji Inafune is the one who did it?
Yes. Yes. So he left them on bad terms and decided to go his own route. He crowdsourced or crowdfunded. What's the right word, Matt?
I think crowdfunded the development of this game, Mighty Number 9. And it's just barely not enough Mega Man just to not get sued. I feel like he even might probably have been sued over it. But definitely, you can see in every aspect of it, it's freaking Mega Man. Yeah.
Matt, you hate this game, and you did pay into the crowdfunding, didn't you?
If I did,
or you were following it since then.
No,
maybe.
I was following it for a long while because I was really excited to see it. Come to fruition and all that. And when it finally... See, the game as it looks right now is nothing like the concept, like some of the early demo footage of it was. It looked a lot more closer to Mega Man X. And what we got with Mighty Number 9 was just... Yeah.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't what you would call an overwhelming success. Now is it?
No, it failed hard.
Yeah. So I will say this. Okay, I think you're being a little harsh, Matt. I do.
I know.
Oh, okay. Fair enough then. Never mind. All right. Well, moving on.
No. But no, what were you gonna say?
It is Mega Man. Like, despite what you think, it may not be a good Mega Man, but it is Mega Man. If you're looking for something new Mega Man for dirt cheap, it is. It's pretty freaking hard. Like, it's shockingly hard. Like, I didn't think it'd be as hard as it is.
At least.
No, it's like that frustrating play it over and over and over and over again type Mega Man shit, okay? They also kept the old school shit where there's only one checkpoint in every level, and they're pretty long levels. So you either are starting from the beginning or you're starting from the middle checkpoint, and then when you lose all your lives and get to continue, you start at the beginning of the level. So it's very throwback in that way, which is kind of cool. It brings out your retro gamer skill set, because there's no like, I'll just start right back where I died, or the checkpoint was really close, or I'm at the boss, I'll just start back at the boss. No. not on Mighty Number 9. It's very old school like that. So I thought that was cool. Dislikes, you can't shoot up or down or diagonal. At least up or down would be nice. You can't duck and shoot, which I think is stupid. They designed the level so that it's definitely not necessary, but there's places where it definitely would have made life, I don't want to say easier, it just would have felt better. It would have been more, I don't know. Like to not be able to shoot up or down or duck and shoot, it's unnecessary. Like it doesn't, I don't know, it almost feels left out. Anyways, but that's it so far. I'm only a couple levels in because it is impossibly hard, Matt. It really is. And I gave up on it from there, and I don't know, I might play it again one day, but probably not.
Yeah, sorry to hear that.
Yeah. So that's my Mighty Number 9 review. It looks good. For being a action platformer shooter type, retro recreation, and it's all 3D, and it's still 2D scrolling or 2D style scrolling, but it's everything is 3D. It's polygons. So, and it looks good. It does. It's what Mega Man would look like, modern. So. Yeah. But anyways, Matt, you've got quite a few things on your list here. Looks like some real Mega Man, possibly. What you got, man?
Still playing StarCraft 2, going through the campaign. I'm on the second expansion now, Heart of the Swarm, and just really taking my time through it and just playing casually with it and still enjoying it. I love this. I love these games. Just really playing it
through it.
Yeah.
So cool.
And just really just playing through the story again. So not to really get too deep into that, but also I had some really awesome games of Players Unknown Battlegrounds, and I told you this the other day, like, bro, when this comes out on console, I'm going to buy it again, and we need to play it.
Oh, dude, absolutely.
It is such a good game. So I just want to tell a little story.
Go for it.
I'll tell the one where I was playing solo, and so it got up to a point, like, I didn't come across anyone during the whole time. And if you've played the game, you know that a circle starts forming and you need to get in the circle or else you're going to die on the map. And
right, like the blue swirly fog shit comes after you. Yeah. Okay.
And so I got the circle was getting smaller, and I went into this house, and I'm just sitting there. I'm hiding in the bathroom the whole time. I had some really good gear on me too, which helped me. And of course, this game, I guess I get a little too into it because I start actually getting nervous because, there's no music at all in the game when you're playing. You have to have headphones on, and you have to listen for footsteps, cars, where gunshots are coming from, because it'll sort of tell you where people are. So I'm in this house, and I'm just hiding in this bathroom, and I'm way too afraid to move. And then all of a sudden I hear a car pull up, and I'm just like, oh, fuck. Oh, shit. And,
dun, dun, dun.
And one of the best things for you to do is to, every time you go in a house, make sure you close the door behind you, because you don't want someone seeing that, hey, someone's in that house. I'm going to go look now.
Yeah.
So I'm hiding in this bathroom, and the guy must have been sneaking through the house because I hear footsteps coming ever so closely. And I'm freaking out here, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, someone's coming. And then he opens up the bathroom door, and I'm just like, pow, 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 pow. I'm just like, oh shit, oh god. and then it got down to the top 10. And then I was still in the circle where I didn't have to leave the house. And then it got down to the top 5. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm freaking out now. And so
I might win.
Not even that. I've just never been this high before. And so then it got to the top 3. And then I had to leave the house at this point because the circle got so small that if I didn't leave the house, I was going to die. So I start just crawling on my hands and knees in the game to the door in this house on the outside. I don't see anybody. And as soon as I pop my head outside, boom, dead. Like, oh my God.
Oh, man, dude.
I pretty much like jumped out of my seat because it comes out of nowhere. Like, you have no idea it's going to happen to you. It's not like when Call of Duty, if you're getting shot, you sort of know you're getting shot. It's one of those as soon as someone has a sniper rifle and they're aimed at you and they get a really good headshot, boom, one shot, you're dead.
One shot kill, yeah. Speaking of snipers in this game and gear, you mentioned really good gear. Have you gotten a sniper rifle yet?
It's not the exact most powerful sniper rifle. It was like an M14, and I got a really good scope on it, and I was just doing single shot on it because it had like a clip of 15 bullets, I think, in it. Mm-hmm. So instead of it, doing spray, I just did single shot, and I was able to pick off a few people at one point. Not during that game, but I have, been able to pick people off, and it's nice because they start freaking out and they're running around like, oh my God, where's it coming from?
You're just watching them scramble and jump and juke and jive back and forth and stuff. Yeah.
Because that's another thing you got to get used to in that game. Because, in other games, when you get shot, like the blood spatter will sort of tell you what direction you're getting shot. Yeah. In this game, it doesn't tell you anything.
It doesn't. Oh, I kind of like that. It kind of levels the playing field, bro. It kind of levels it.
You have to listen to the sound where the shot came from.
What? So how are the bullet physics on this? Is there like bullet drop? Like if they're way out there, you got to aim high and all that stuff?
And if you're not that far away and they're running away, like say they're running to the left or right, you have to compensate for that too.
You have to lead them. You have to lead them. Yeah. So, dude, so exciting. So, hey, turns out I have come across a Mobo Proc RAM.
I heard about this. Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see for sure. So
it's happening. I heard about this.
Well, we'll see.
I will make it happen. You'll just need to get a video card, though.
I know. That's what I was just going to say. All I have to do is get a video card, and I was talking to the old lady about it. So I may, for the price of a video card, may finally be able to break into this unknown world. So we'll see.
Do you want to borrow a video card? I've got one. You can borrow. I mean, it's my older video card. That's
a thing? Like borrowing? Hey, bro, can I get some video card?
Like, is it? No, I'll let you borrow it, man. It's
Will it play this game?
I don't even know what the specs are.
That's all I care about. Yeah, I don't know.
Let me see what the specs are. Players, unknown, battleground specs. Radeon HD. Oh shit, no, because the video card I have, you need a minimum of a Radeon HD 7850, and I've got a Radeon HD 6770 or something like that.
Shit,
it's like one generation below.
Well, we'll see how everything plays out. Make sure I can get everything on the up and everything like that, and it's all good and not, overheats immediately or anything like that, because it is all used. But if it does, if I just have to buy a video card, man, that's cool. I can probably make that happen at some point. So,
but if you don't want to spend too much on a video card, get the GTX 970. That's what I run.
Yeah, I know the 970 is the go-to right now on that, especially for the price point since the newer cards dropped, and that thing is still phenomenal. I mean, you tell me stuff you run, you're getting. What you made a joke the other day about like something like when it dips down to 60 frames or something.
Oh, it was I think it was World of Warcraft. I'm just like, yeah, it goes down to 60 frames per second during some parts, and I'm just like, because pretty much every other Blizzard game is 100 FPS plus, but you don't even really notice though. Honestly,
after like 60, it's really hard for you to tell. TVs are like that. They say you need 120 frames for VR, and you need like 4K to not get dizzy. Like a lot of people get like really fucked up from it, and it's the flicker apparently. So yeah.
No, but if you are, like I said, if you want the budget option, I'd go for the 970. But if you don't want to go for budget option, get the 1070.
1070, that's the new. They're pretty pricey, man. I was looking at them.
I'm looking at a 1070 right now, and it's almost $400. That's, I mean, I know that is expensive, but if you go to the next step up, the 1080, you're looking at freaking
like $700 and shit. Yeah. I was looking at the 1080 Ti's earlier, and I was like, well, that's never gonna happen.
Well, no. If you look at just the regular 1080s, the 1080 Ti, that's like the next step up from the 1080. If you're looking at just the 1080, that's about $500 to $600.
Yeah, that's not practical.
Yeah. I mean, the good thing about a 1080 Ti, just like how the 980 Ti or the 980 Titan, whatever the hell they called it, that's still going to last you a long time. Like, you won't have to upgrade. But, I mean, do you really want to drop almost $1,000 on a video card, though?
Yeah, no. Well, here's my thing is like my first thing is all right, Google 970. And it's like, okay, cool, these are affordable. But then I'm like, well, hold on. Spend the 200 something bucks now on a 970, but you know, if I have to get a card in a year because some badass game is out or whatever, it's like I'm already 200 bucks in the hole. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, what do I do? But I don't know. I'll figure it out. I got a buddy of mine that's real thrifty when it comes to you know, finding things like this, and he always finds the deal. So I might reach out to him and see if he can get me like a secondhand one or something like that. So we'll see. But yeah, man, I would love to play this game with you, dude. Like, it would be... I've been watching videos of it, man. I've been watching, like, Stone Mountain 64. But he, like, legit will play it, too. Like, not just the funny ones and stuff.
Yeah.
Even the funny ones are making me want to play it. But, yeah, it's a good game, man. But anyways, we went way off on a tangent there, man. I'm sorry.
It's still such a good-ass game, though.
I know.
Like I said, I'm excited for you that you're going to get a computer, but...
Hopefully.
Yeah. Oh no, it's gonna happen. But before I get into this one that I have highlighted here, I'm gonna talk about Mega Man X real quick. I've got you and I talked about this, I think, over text last night. Just the difference between like PS2 and GameCube with the Mega Man collection. But I've been playing the Mega Man X Legacy collection, or whatever the hell they call it, the Mega Man X collection, and just been playing the first one, and I'm at Sigma's castle or fortress now, and holy shit, I forgot how hard this game could be.
I mean, it's a Mega Man, Matt.
I know. Well,
let's get real.
And this is coming from someone who's beaten all 10 of the original Mega Mans. I find Mega Man X harder than the original Mega Mans.
I could see that. I don't know, man. It's hard to say. I didn't play all the original 10. I mean, I played a good portion of them, but not all of them. And I've only played a couple of the X's. And yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I didn't find them any more difficult than any of the regular Mega Mans. I don't know, maybe ramped up a little bit, but I don't know.
No, but I've been enjoying that game. I'm determined to beat it. I had to suddenly stop playing it tonight because I'm like, that freaking spider boss at the end of the first Sigma level, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I hate this. Do you remember that boss in that one?
I do vaguely. This is a game that I rented back in the day, so I'm actually Googling it right now.
Yeah, the freaking spider boss, it'll drop randomly, and you have to make sure you dash out of the way, and then you only have like a 1 second opening to even hit it in the face. So it's one of those where you have to be really quick and just have good luck.
This is on X4, is that right?
No, this is Mega Man X.
Just the regular X one. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I'm playing that one first, and I'm going to move on to 2, then 3. It has the first 6 Mega Man X games on this one.
Oh, yes, I remember this. Okay, all right.
Yeah. Fuck that thing.
Yeah, you don't know which one it's going to drop down on and all that. Okay, yeah, no, that is not easy. No. Because there's really no pattern to it, really. Nope. It's just hope you get a bunch of hits in early on and then can stick it out for, like, you know, and get those last bit of his life down. I do remember that, yeah. Yeah,
not fun. But, yeah, like I said, I'm playing that, gonna beat it, then go on to 2. But the next game I've been playing, it's not a traditional video game. Been playing Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition with the wife and kid, or kids, I should say, because Zoe's kind of playing it in a sense. It's been more of Jazzy and my wife. And,
so go into this a little bit, because I really have no idea about this, like, at all.
So I mean, well, you've never played any tabletop RPGs, have you?
What, Dungeons and Dragons?
Yeah.
Sure I have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just don't know what this is. D&D 5th edition. So it's just like is it just a new revision? Like, is it new rules? Like, what is? I don't know anything about. Like, I played, you know, you're talking 15 years ago or something. So
yeah. So every maybe 5 to 10 years, the people who make Dungeons and Dragons will revise the game and come out with new concepts of it, new rules, and just a way for them to make money. But the one thing that I've been really liking about 5th edition is they make it really, it's more of a throwback to almost the original D&D than anything. I mean, there's still a lot of rules that have stuck around throughout the editions and all that, but it's more about role-playing than it is combat, because the past couple editions of D&D were way too heavily focused on combat. And this one...
Did they start, adding, extra attributes for, your characters and stuff, too? Originally there was, dexterity and
strength and constitution.
Yeah. So, did they continuously add more and more different, how they've done in modern games, even they've done the same thing?
Yeah, they've done something similar. I mean, still character creation's way different than what it was originally, but like I said, this is more honing back to actual role playing than combat, and you don't even need miniatures to play or anything now, because 4th edition was very heavy into you had to have miniatures to play the game. You couldn't just play pen and paper, which is, dumb. I mean,
sounds like a money grab, doesn't it?
It definitely was for them. I mean, you could still play with minis in 5th edition, but the rules are written in a way where you don't have to now. So
it's like Dungeons and Dragons Infinity.
Yeah, it really
Amiibos.
And what I like about it is, so they have this starter set. This starter set comes with a pre-made campaign. It comes with a bunch of pre-made character sheets. Comes with a pretty basic rule book, so anyone can just pick it up and play. And that's what we've been doing. And we're about halfway through the pre-made campaign right now. And I've just been balls deep into it, learning all the rules of it and just really getting into it. So, and
balls deep.
Hell yeah, man. And it's just been a lot of fun. And it's been a fun family thing too.
Are you doing the DM for that?
Yep.
I'm Twisted? Are you purposely making it impossible or screwing with anybody?
No, because not yet, because I'm doing just the pre-made campaign that comes with it, because the biggest thing, because I've DM'd plenty of times for other systems, but since I don't really know the rule set for 5th edition yet, I'm just doing this pre-made campaign and just going by the book pretty much, because I really need to get a better grasp of the rules before I even want to DM.
Oh, that's definitely the move the first time too, is definitely do what they've kind of set and kind of get the feel for it, get the flow. That makes sense.
No, but usually my DM style is, every time that I've DM'd in the past is I'll pretty much let the players do whatever they want, but there's always going to be consequences. Like, oh, you want to go steal from this guy? Okay, well now you got 50 guards after you, so deal with it.
How many people you think right now are going, why do they keep talking about Instagram? What are you saying, DM?
Oh.
Why do they keep referencing Twitter when they're talking about Dungeons and Dragons?
Oh, God, that'll be bad.
Dungeon Master, guys. Dungeon Master.
Yes, or Game Master. Did you know DM is actually trademarked by Wizards of the Coast?
Doesn't surprise me in the least, Matt.
So every other game that's not D&D, when they write their rule set, they have to call it Game Master.
You think it'd be easy to get a patent on that and then screw everybody else over?
Probably. I mean, I'm sure, lawyers and judges could be paid off for that crap. But I mean, in the role-playing community, Game Master is generally accepted for any kind of homebrew systems and all that.
Right.
But even then, people still call it DM anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, old habits die hard, right?
Yeah. No, but that's been pretty much it for me in terms of playing games. What kind of pickups have you had recently?
I have had a few. Actually, I really haven't played any of them. I mean, I tested a couple, but I haven't really played them, so I really don't have much to talk about. But my favorite pickup that I got is actually I've had it for a little while. I got it from a dude we work with by the name of Josh. One of our coworkers there, pretty cool. He's a bit of a gamer himself. I think he just does PC nowadays, but he has one old school retro video game cartridge left from when he was a kid, and he said it just somehow didn't get sold or traded off or whatever, and it was Battletoads on the NES, and he was asking if I was interested. Yeah, so no, God, dude, that's a tall order. You think Mega Man is hard? Holy fuck!
Yeah, I've never beaten Battletoads.
No, me either. I've seen like Cinemassacre. I've seen like Bootsy and shit do that, but I no. But yeah, Battletoads, he gave it to me for a really, really fair price, far better than they're asking for at the flea markets and things like that. So, I mean, how could I say no? You know, he was just, he didn't want to deal with selling it and wanted it to go to somebody that was going to play it. So, pretty cool. It's a good game. Yeah, if you never played Battletoads, guys, you're missing out. Probably one of the best, if not the best, beat 'em up on the NES, for sure. At least graphically, it's really beautiful for an NES game.
It really is. Yeah, as far as beat 'em up, Battletoads and Double Dragon. If I had to choose, I'd choose Battletoads any day.
Double Dragon's good, but I think I got to go with Battletoads. You got Turtles Arcade did come out, which is good. Everybody said Battletoads was like a copy of it, but I think Battletoads is a superior game.
Battletoads was an arcade game, right?
That I don't know. I know that everybody says that it's like a cheap ripoff of the Turtles Arcade game on the NES. But I think that it's the moves in the battle, the moves and the stuff that you can do and the things you can pick up and stuff. I think it's a little bit more deeper, a little more varied. The level design is certainly better. You've got like it's more three-dimensional, if you will, and I don't mean that like in polygons. I mean that like how you move around and how there's different levels to things, and there's things where you're rappelling down holes and stuff like that, and it's just, it's a little different. I don't like when people make the comparison. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Turtles the arcade game. I like it a lot, but I just don't think it's a fair comparison.
No, it's perfectly valid.
So next thing is I picked up Super R-Type for the Super Nintendo. It's a shmup. We talked about that a couple episodes ago. A shoot 'em up. It's a side-scrolling shoot 'em up. It's a slower paced one, whereas it doesn't scroll crazy fast on you. Real good game, can be very challenging. I played it a lot as a kid. I used to rent it all the damn time, so I haven't really played it yet just because that game is like burned into me. So I got it for $8 with a case. So I was like, at a store. It's not an expensive game. Actually, you can get it for even cheaper on Amazon. So I actually overpaid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was a million of them made. A billion, rather.
I freaking played the hell out of it.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't realize that you played that too. That's cool. Yeah.
No, I never beat it, but that game was just freaking hard.
It is hard. It's very hard. But you can learn it. Supposedly it's beatable. I never beat it as a kid, but I sure as shit got pretty far. So anyway, I got that for $8 with the little case. It's not the original SNES box or SNES box. It's like a rental store one with like a printed out artwork for it. But it works. It's cool. Yeah. Something nice to keep it in. And for $8, I mean, shit. I picked up Street Fighter 4 on the PS3.
Never played that one.
I've played it in the past. I even thought I owned it, but apparently I didn't. So I actually got that technically for free. So couldn't say no to that. Also picked up Scribblenauts on the Wii U. I don't know. Have you seen that, Matt? Have you seen your kids watching any of their Let's Plays play that game? It's kind of popular.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm familiar with the game. I've just never played it.
Yeah, I hadn't either. Actually, my son knew about it and was like, we found it at the retro game store. It was like $16, $17 or something. And it's Wii U, so it's a little current or whatever. So I thought that was a good deal, and he was really stoked about it. It's pretty cool. Like how you have to like if you need an item, like you literally have to spell it out, and then it'll like poof, it'll appear. So like you can do like if you need a knife, like you type in the word knife and you can get it. Or if this person's cold, they need a shirt. Or you can type out jacket or whatever. And help things along if you need money. Like, it's really cool. Like, it's a really neat little concept, and Aiden seems to like it, so pretty cool. So yeah, good times. That's it for my pickups, man. You got anything this week?
Yeah, I forgot to mention that I went to a flea market, the same airport flea market that you and I have been to, where they had those guys selling a bunch of retro games. Yeah, they're not there anymore. which
Oh, damn, dude. They had good deals.
Yeah. And yeah, they would make me some really good deals. But so I walked around and I did see some people selling some games, nothing good at all. It was all trash. I mean, we're talking like sports games. But I did see something really interesting. You remember the PlayStation 2 Slims?
Yes.
I saw one of them selling it for $5, and I got really excited because I'm like, oh, for $5, I could go replace my fat one, and
Or even just have an extra in case it dies, man.
yeah. And so I was really excited. I went over to go look at it, go pick it up, and it fell apart.
Seriously?
Yeah, like it came apart. And it was just, I almost wanted to yell at the guy, like, seriously? Why are you even selling this? This is just trash.
He just propped it up together and just set it on the table, like thinking somebody wouldn't notice. Yeah. That sucks, man. That's that's the risk you run, man, with used stuff, unfortunately, but that sucks.
Yeah, so I went to that Game Quest again, and
that's the store up by you.
Yeah, I'm just not impressed by that place at all. And I even took my time looking around. I didn't see jack crap, but Zoe found a game, and it's Dora the Explorer Saves the Ice Princess, or the Snow Princess, I mean. And she loves it. So I got it for her, and that's pretty much all that mattered, that she likes it.
Dude, that's what it's all about, dude. You know what I mean? Whatever they're into, whatever interests them, and just enjoying it. I mean, that's definitely the move.
Yeah.
That Game Quest place, I talked them up to you originally, and I swear to God, they used to have a bunch of good stuff in there, but I really do think he's just putting all his good stuff directly to eBay now, because even when I've been in there, money. Yeah, I guess so, man. Because even when I've been in there, it's just been, as of late, it's just been shit. It's a real letdown. It was real nice to find something. I mean, look. I know you're going to pay full price at a retail store. That's the whole point. Why are you walking in if you think otherwise, right?
Yeah.
But at least put your good shit out. That's why I'm coming to a brick and mortar. If I wanted something that was hard to find, I would have already gone to the internet for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever. Anyways, I digress. So.
No, but that's it for me for recent pickups.
Okay. All right. Cool. So, Matt, we have, before we get into the meat of the podcast, the star of tonight's show, the special portion of it, we do have one bit of news that we want to talk about, don't we?
Oh, yeah. How Square Enix sucks and likes to ruin my childhood.
They're pretty shitty, man.
Dude, completely pissed me off when I read the news. It's just, all right. So, let me just say that the whole news is that the Square Enix CEO has basically stated that the Final Fantasy VII Remake and Kingdom Hearts 3 are going to launch within the next 3 years. They told us,
Matt,
that we should expect these games at the middle or end of this year.
Yep, it says fiscal year 2017.
And
3-year delay. 3-year delay. Almost makes me forget about Red Dead being delayed only 6 months.
Yeah, it's really annoying because on one hand, I would like to play the 7 remake, but I think I'm more pissed about Kingdom Hearts 3 than anything, because we've literally been waiting for that game 2 generations ago. Back on the PS2.
Yep, PS2, that's right. 2 freaking gen. Shit, and this gen is almost out. I mean, you got your PS4 Pro already dropped, and the X-Bone replacement there, or X-Bone...
That's coming out soon,
0.5.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, you're already at the end of this gen. So, I mean, you're talking there's going to be a full, not just 2 generations later, 2 full start and end cycle generations are going to happen of consoles between a sequel. That's just unnecessary, man.
Yeah, and it's just...
This is them though. Look how long Final Fantasy 15 took. I mean, they scrapped it and restarted it at one point.
Yeah, I know. It took them over. They announced that 2005, 2006.
Yep.
They announced it, and just came out last year. And that's another thing. Final Fantasy 15. I paid for the season pass, and only one thing of DLC has come out.
So I don't know if you saw this, Matt, but like I had commented on this, I think somewhere on Facebook about this. Like, okay, it's basically canceled, I think is what I said. I'd use the word basically. And somebody said, no, it's not canceled. It's just been moved in-house. And it's like, okay, it's still delayed for 3 years. Might as well be canceled as far as I'm concerned. 3 years? Do you know how long that is when it's talking about gaming? And then, like, that doesn't make me feel any better that they moved the development in-house because Final Fantasy 15, like, that was done in-house and look how long it took, So yeah. I'm just not, it doesn't make me feel any better, the fact that they moved it in-house. I mean, maybe the other studio was having a problem or it was sucking or whatever, but I mean, yeah. I don't know, man. I can't deal. I can't. Like, I don't even know why I bother getting excited for new games anymore because they're just going to shit on us and delay them.
Yeah. I know.
Whatever.
It's annoying, but
I'm looking at screens of the proposed FF7 remake, and it looks awesome.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? You're not going to play it though.
Yeah, I won't know. I'll be middle-aged and shit when that comes out, so that'll be cool.
God damn, you'll have like arthritis. You won't even be able to...
When I used to play this game...
It was nothing but boxes. They look like Legos.
Kids weren't even born yet.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
It's fucking bullshit.
Well, anyways, we just want to make sure that we don't have much other news for this episode. We're saving everything for our E3 special. But we did feel like it was necessary that everybody know the crap that Square Enix is trying to pull, and they can suck our balls collectively.
Yes. Let's get into the real meat of this. And
yeah.
I think a good way to do this, Butler, and this is something that I've done on SciFan, is...
Oh, I know where you're going. Go ahead.
When we do the top 10, we should... one of us will start like, my number 10 is this, and then we go to your number 10, then you go to your number 9, then back and forth.
Yep.
And
totally ready for that.
So, and I think first, if you want to start off, just talk about your honorable mentions first, real quick. That
do you just want to blow through those, or you want to go one by one?
Well, we can. Well, how about you do all your honorable mentions and just give a quick little, I don't know, blurb about it, and then I'll do mine, and then we'll start the real meat and potatoes.
All right. Will do. All right, everybody. Without any further ado, insert music here. Okay. Here is our VCR gaming Super Nintendo top 10. That's right. We are going to not agree on some of this, so this will be fun. Yep. So for honorable mentions for me, first thing I want to talk about is the Magical Quest starring Mickey Mouse, Sir Zuby of the far-reaching lands of Middle Florida. Thank you very much for challenging me into this game a while back and letting me borrow it. Although I did not complete the challenge successfully, or on time rather, I did put quite a few hours into this game. If you guys are wanting a great platformer on the Super Nintendo, something different, something that you probably haven't come across, the Magical Quest starring Mickey Mouse, solid. Can't recommend it enough. Really good game. It's made not by Disney, so it's a good Disney game. And so that's really good. Next thing I have, honorable mentions. I know this one should probably be in somebody's top 10 list, but there's just so many good games on the Super Nintendo, I didn't have room for it. But Star Fox.
Oh, I know.
Star Fox is great. It literally was, one of the earlier games to push polygons. Granted, it was very minuscule, but it was, and it looked good even on the Super Nintendo. Some people will tell you it's not playable today. I say, bullshit. It is. I played it not too long ago. It's really good. It's neat. It pushed limits. It was really cool to see that done on that system, and it's very fun, and it spawned like a huge franchise for them, and those characters are still in games today, so pretty cool.
Oh, did I ever tell you how I acquired Star Fox?
You might have. Refresh my memory, though.
I found it on the street.
Oh, that's right. Was it messed up or something, though? Like physically or something like that?
Well, it wasn't even a cartridge. It was just the actual chip.
That's okay. I do remember this now. Yes.
Yeah. And it was just the actual chip was on the side of the road or something. And I remember my friend and I was like, this kind of looks like something for the Super Nintendo. When we put it in, boom, it was Star Fox.
Fired right up. Super FX chip survived.
It did, yeah.
So there you go. Matt has real world durability tested it for you guys. So get it just because it's strong.
Yeah.
My last honorable mention, and Matt, I don't know if you've played this or not.
Oh, yeah, I've played
okay.
this. I've 100% this shit.
Oh, God. Okay. All right. Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. Some people say it's not the actual sequel to Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo, but it is. It is. You want to know something cool about this game, Matt?
What?
It uses a Super FX chip. Oh, bet you didn't know that.
Oh, it does it?
Yep, it does. So it came later in the life of it. So, really good game, really fun. Everybody bitches about Mario crying, baby Mario crying. It's annoying, but it motivates you to get him back. I think it actually kind of makes it fun, personally. It can get annoying, but yeah, Yoshi's Island, Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, freaking phenomenal game. It's the first game that had the mechanic where you can point where he's going to shoot or throw an egg at, which is kind of cool. So if you want to see where that came from, it's there. Still very playable today. Still a lot of content. That's my honorable mentions. The rest is just absolute cream of the crop, just the best of the best of the best, sir. And we'll hold off on that. Matt, what are your honorable mentions?
My honorable mentions, these were hard to actually pick because these two could have easily have made my top 10. And my first one goes out to Super Metroid. And
phenomenal.
I have played this game many, many times. I've done the one challenge that I think was out there where you 100% it but still have to beat it in less than 3 hours to get the best ending. Yeah, I remember doing that as a kid.
I was never able to do that, dude. Props.
And it was hard. I could not do it now, but I loved that game. It was my first the Metroid game on Game Boy was my first one. This is my second one. And I still remember going to the store and buying it. It was probably birthday money or something, and just playing the hell out of it.
Damn,
I loved it.
Bought it yourself? Sick, dude.
Oh yeah, AKA it was money my mom gave me for my birthday and all that. So
yeah, it's still your money, dude. Money's hard to come by when you're a kid, bro. Especially in the 90s world that the 80s 90s world that we grew up in, man. Times were hard, man.
I know, and the next one, like I said, this one could have easily made my top 10 as well, and it was Mega Man X2. And out of all 3 X games on the Super Nintendo, this one was my favorite. I don't know exactly why, I just remember this had the most fun levels out of the 3, and I love the armor that you get, I love the level design of it, the challenge, I don't know, just everything about it. I never owned this game as a kid. I always rented it, and I rented it very, very often.
This game may possibly be my favorite Mega Man of all time, and I did the same as you. I rented it quite a bit as a kid. Yeah. Never owned it either. Not the cheapest games to come by nowadays, but not too bad.
Yeah.
I mean, get a repro, I guess, on that, but...
Yeah, so those are my honorable mentions, and I think now we need to go into the top 10, and I say let's start it off with you, and then we'll do your 10, and then I'll go to my 10.
All right, number 10. All right, so this game here was an early release for the Super Nintendo. I still feel like it does a great job of showcasing what the Super Nintendo was capable of. It's Super Ghouls and Ghosts. It's extremely hard, but
yes,
repetition. Matt borrowed it recently and was commenced to texting me obscenities almost immediately.
Yeah, fuck it.
It's not easy. It's not, but repetition and a little YouTube, and you can get through it. You can. My son and I like to every now and again. It's really hard for kids to play this one. Just the difficulty level is and the frustration. It takes some patience, but we like to sit down and try to see how far we can get and stuff like that. But it's it's cool. It looks really well. Great use of color. Really cool, like zombie looking shit and stuff. Like I like it a lot, man. It's just I don't know. It controls real well. It feels real good. It's just the hardness factor. And let's not mention the fact that you actually have to beat the game twice to actually beat the game. So
so they brought that with it too. Same as the Nintendo one.
Yep, exactly. Yep. So
oh man.
But yeah, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, my number 10. It deserves to be there simply for what it was showing, what the system could do that early on, in my nerdy aspect. But Matt, you have a console pusher that came a little bit late in the life on your list. What do you got?
Yeah, I have got, for my number 10 is Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy Kong's Quest.
Phenomenal. And
out of all the 3 Donkey Kong Country games on the Super, this was my favorite one. And I think it mainly had to do with the pirate setting.
It was Dixie, don't lie.
No, it was... I never really used her that much. I mean, of course, when you
with
have
that
to.
Dixie hair girl.
Yeah. And I mean, not unless you had to use her in the game, for certain parts. But it was, for the most part, really solid platforming levels. Really, really good level design. Really good challenges. I 102%ed it. Where you even have to beat Captain K. Rool or Captain Cruel in the ancient world or whatever.
Oh yes, yes.
I forget what they call it, but
it has been a minute.
And
that's a great game, Matt.
Yeah, and it's just an all around. Even today, it is easy to pick up and play, and it's just one of those. It's still enjoyable to this day.
Highly recommend this game. You can get it somewhat affordably. If you see it at a good deal, I recommend it. All day. Yeah.
So coming in at number 9 for me is probably one of the most fun multiplayer RPGs on the Super Nintendo, and that is Secret of Mana. Secret of Mana is a really fun multiplayer game, and you can actually have 3 players because you have the 3 characters, and it is, I think it was actually considered the second game in the series of Secret of Mana games, and the first one being actually Final Fantasy Adventure on Game Boy, but they just
I think you're right on that. Yep.
They just called it Final Fantasy just to sell titles, but it's a really fun multiplayer game. It's really, really simple. The combat system is really simple. It's more of an action RPG. It's very easy for kids to pick up. I remember playing this game. A buddy and I played it all summer during one time, and we beat it from start to finish. And I've played it many times after that, and I still enjoy it to this day. I really want to get a physical copy and, sort of do the same with my kids and just slowly go through the game and play it.
Is this one of the early games that you put like a serious amount of hours into, would you say?
No.
Like first time you crossed the 80-hour mark or something like that?
Nope.
Oh, wow. It actually was for me. Somebody gave it to me and I didn't, it kind of sat for a while. Like I first put it in, I didn't really understand what was going on or whatever. And then somebody at school was telling me about what a good time they had playing over the weekend. And I was like, wait, what? And yeah, I think this is one of the very first games that I really, really put like an insane amount of time into. So, anyways, it's a good game. I agree with you, Matt.
Yeah, really fun multiplayer game, and that is it for my number 9. What about your number 9, Butler?
So I gave you the when you said multiplayer, really fun multiplayer, because of my number 9. So Matt, I don't think you've played this, you said, but I was talking to you about it the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have coming in at number 9 is the Legend of the Mystical Ninja on the Super Nintendo. This is a really cool ass game. I'm not sure when in the life it came out. I know it wasn't an early game by any means. It's very Japanese styled, but it was released here. English, ported properly and all that. You can do single player, you can do co-op, whatever the case may be. It's a action adventure. You could call it an RPG because there's a story. There's a lot of there's like little cutscene type things. They're not cutscenes, but
is there leveling up or anything like that?
That's not really, but you do upgrade your gear, and things wear out and things like that. So in that aspect, there is. It's really cool like that. Like you get a yo-yo, it's kind of like almost like NES. You've got things you can throw. You've got a club, and you can get different clubs that are better and worse and things like that. And again, you can play it by yourself or somebody can jump in and play with you. You can pick it up or leave off. You don't have to play just 2-player mode or 1-player or whatever the case may be. There's side-scrolling action stages. There's platforming action stages. There's, vertical action stages. There's a little bit of Mode 7 going on. The graphics are good. It's styled really well. There's tons and tons of content. Like, you will play this for quite a while. I really love this. I don't currently have it. It is getting a little bit on the pricey side. I think I saw a boxed copy of it the other day at a flea market for $100. So
Damn.
yeah, I think it's like 50 or 60 without. So I may end up, maybe getting a repro on this. I don't know. I just hate spending new game money on an old game. But
yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
I mean, if it's something you're really going to put the time into, I suppose it's worth it and to have a real copy. But, when it comes down to it, if I've got to choose between, something new, I don't even know what the heck
like the
I'm
Crash
waiting on.
Bandicoot trilogy coming on at the end
There
of
you
the
go.
month.
Well, there you go. Or I really want to get the Street Fighter 2 for the Switch,
Oh, yeah.
or an old game. It's just hard to pay new game money for an old game, I guess, is what I'm getting at. So,
Yeah.
but anyways,
And when it's
Legend
so
of the Steel
easily
Ninja.
emulated too.
Yeah, exactly. It is too. I mean, I can play it on the Wii right now if I wanted to, but it's not the same. So
Yeah, it's not.
I won't. But I'm just a snob, so disregard me on that, guys. Next up, Matt. We are not on the same page for number 8 as far as style of games go. In fact, they couldn't be more apart. But I'll go ahead with my number 8. Number 8 is a game that not everybody's going to agree with me on, but I guess I just have a lot of time into it. It's Contra 3.
It's such a good game.
Really is. This is the one with the aliens and shit. Pretty cool. There's some Mode 7 levels that some people really criticize harshly. I like that it changes it up from the typical like side-scrolling shooter, and gives you sort of that top-down Mode 7-esque. I think it's cool. It changes up. They're not very hard levels. They're not very time-consuming. The bosses are even kind of fun in those. Again, it's a good departure. I really liked it. What I don't like about Contra 3, if you're actually playing Contra 3, is it's freaking hard. They don't give you enough continues. They don't give you enough lives. I mean, I know it's beatable. I've seen people do it. I'm not that guy, unfortunately. I've never been able to beat it just straight up. I got this repro of it. It's called Contra Spirits is what it's called. And it's the same game, except that it's been modded slightly to give you more continues, and a few more lives to make it, more fun. Like that, and it adds in a level I believe that was in the Japanese release that we didn't get over here, and it's more true to the Japanese. Like they changed some things, censorship, whatever you want to call it, or just cultural differences. So it's actually like an English version of the Japanese version of Contra 3 made a little bit easier. Which is exactly what this game needed, in my opinion. So if you find the actual game Contra 3 too hard, check out the repro called Contra Spirits. It's pretty good, man. I like it a lot. Aiden and I playing the Spirits version of it, we were able to beat the whole game in just like a couple hours. Yeah, it doesn't take long, and anybody can do it because you're going to come right back. Like you're not going to run out of lives or continues, and you can absolutely get right through it. And it's just a great shooter, man. So highly, highly recommend that. Number 8 on my list. Matt, where you at, bro?
My number 8 is a game that spawned a whole genre on Facebook.
Oh, shit. It totally did.
It did, and that is none other than Harvest Moon, which is basically a farming simulator. But there is a little bit of a difference compared to just the regular farming simulator that, Farmville did. The thing that I really like with Harvest Moon, it's basically a story of you're a young man who has acquired his grandpa's farm, and you've got 3 years to basically, make it profitable. And you also need to make good with the townspeople. So that includes, courting a girl where you get married and have a kid, build a bigger house, be friends with everybody, be a part of the town's festivals that happen throughout the year. And
American dream.
Yep. And it's a really, really calm and peaceful game. I mean, it's not stressful at all.
Super chill, right? I think that's what I like most about it, man.
And it is a very chill game. And, I mean, as you can surmise, it's a farming game, so the main point of the game is to plant crops, grow them, sell them, get some animals. They only had 2 animals in the game that you can raise. That's chickens and cows. Other iterations have, you can do fish, you can do bees.
Yeah, it branches out.
Yeah, do a lot more.
Sheep.
Yeah, that's right, sheep. I forgot about that. And,
DS, baby.
Yeah, you're right. So there's a lot more in the other iterations, but the Super Nintendo one still remains my favorite Harvest Moon game out of them all, because not only is it really simple, it's also very tight and compact in the gameplay and the actual relationships that you build, because a lot of the later iterations get a little bit too complicated where you have to almost memorize how people's day-to-day activities are. If you want to say, if you want to court a certain girl, you have to memorize that, how their day-to-day activities are, and that gets annoying.
Holy shit, I forgot about that. Oh man, so much time wasted on that.
Yeah. So,
well, if you want this game, Matt, you better come out of pocket for it. I'm looking at it right now. It's averaging $240 for cart only.
Nope, I have never actually played the physical game on Super Nintendo because I could never rent this game. Every time I went to go rent it, it was always out. So the only way I was able to actually play it is when it was finally playable on emulators, and it wasn't playable on an emulator for a long time. So it was a few years after like ZSNES came out or SNES 9X came out. It was a few years before this was even playable.
See, that's probably when I put the most time into it, I did the same thing. But I did have a friend who I remember when it came out, I didn't understand it. He put 1 million hours into it, and it just kind of sat at his house or whatever. And when I realized what it was or whatever, the 64 and PS1 era was out, and I was actually able to borrow it from him. And I actually did play the real one. I should have bought it off him back in the day. I should have given him $10 for it or something. Now that I'm looking at these prices, 'cause shit.
Yeah, it's
Repros
like $300.
Yeah, no, $240 for a loose cart is what it's averaging, and Repro is $30. Bucks? I must have.
Yeah. There's
a $549 for a complete. Here's a $260. That's just cart. Oh. So yeah, there you go. Even this one with the screwed up label, they're trying to get $311 for. So
Jesus.
Yeah, good luck. Get that Repro for $30, free ship, baby. That's what you want.
Yeah. So you were right when our number 8s are vastly different.
Yeah.
And like I said, I love this game. I can still load it up now and play it and enjoy it. And that's all I've got to say.
It's excellent, man. It's so well done. It's so well done. I think they had to put more thought into games of this console era, because obviously when something went out, that was the final revision. But there also was no DLC. There was none of this, So everything was just felt so well put together and thought out. Like it took time to make. And it's just, I'm not saying you don't get, authentic good stuff nowadays, because you do. I mean, we love all the new stuff, but there's just something about it, man. And Harvest Moon really captures that.
It does. So my number 7 is arguably the best racing game on Super Nintendo, and that is none other than Super Mario Kart.
Low. I don't know why you ranked it so damn low.
My other games on there are better than this, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Go on. Go ahead.
Disgrace this game. Yeah, I'll disgrace it. No, but Super Mario Kart was one of the... I still remember almost a little bit confused, like there's a Mario racing game now, because you got to remember the other Mario games we had at the time were what Mario Time Travels and Mario is Missing, and those
Holy
were
shit, I forgot
terrible
about
games.
those. Yeah,
those were really
wretched.
bad.
Yeah.
So I can still remember thinking like, oh, Mario Kart's out, like, oh, this is going to be bad, you know, on the level of Mario is Missing bad. And
you're taking me to a place that I had all but forgotten about. You're absolutely right. No, seriously, like it did, like it had that, like, this, here we go, you know.
Yeah, and
you're right. I didn't even think about that.
Surprisingly, it's a really good game, really good. And I've told you this before. Mario Kart 8 is my favorite Mario Kart, and this would be second right here.
It's my. I don't agree with you with 8, but it is my number 2 Mario Kart as well. It's so good. It really showed off what the Super Nintendo could do with, you know, all of that is sprites in Mode 7 and scaling, dude. I mean, it's like the pinnacle of like 3D-ish, you know, fake 3D, you know, that you can do on a 33 megahertz processor.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's just really, really phenomenal. And it's just, I don't like, can we talk about dislikes?
Sure.
I don't like that in one player mode it's still split screen.
Yeah, that is annoying. I don't know what they were thinking with that. I mean,
I'm wondering.
I don't know how that even passed design, but I don't know.
And it can't be a horsepower problem, right? Because like you can play 2-player, and it's running 2 at once. So the hell it can't run 1 in full screen. I don't know. I need to do some research into that. But that's my only gripe. Still completely playable. I mean,
oh yeah.
Matt, how many times did you play this game, or with a friend, or just
hours upon hours? Yeah,
just beat this game's ass, you know?
Yeah, and the game still provides a good challenge on 150cc nowadays. It's
hard as shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah. No, it's really good.
I mean, the best thing about this game is it doesn't have the blue shell, because fuck the blue shell,
dude. You saw in my game room, I have a painting that a dude did that has the blue shell. Like, that is the just of my life, of my gaming life. I hate that shit, man. Hate it. Oh, yeah, because when did the blue shell come out? Was that 64 or was that later?
Was it 64?
I don't know. I almost,
maybe it was the GameCube one.
Was it
the DS? I can't remember now.
So, Mario Kart Blue Shell. Oh, I'm getting memes. Let's see. I want to know. It was
introduced in Mario Kart 64.
64.
But did it do the same thing? Was it only...
Yep. Yeah, it's the equalizer. It's put there to balance, you know, first place. Oh, it was put in 64. Ah, shit. I should know this. Okay, it all just came to me. So I actually watched like a documentary that had information about this in there. So the Nintendo 64 was sort of, it was unable to sort of provide a catch-up with the other carts because it requires like faster rendering and skipping sort of some of the track to pull that trick off, and it didn't have the horsepower to do it in multiplayer mode. So the Blue Turtle Shell was what they did. It went way out ahead and it would equalize you. That was actually a way around hardware limitation, believe it or not. That's how it came, and it became a mainstay after that. Yep. So there you go. You guys are welcome. Knowledge. Useless, shitty knowledge just for you.
Pretty much. So that is my number 7, Butler. What about yours?
All right. So my number 7 is Street Fighter 2, but not the regular one. Oh no. Turbo.
Weak. Street Fighter 2 Turbo Alpha for life.
You're probably right. Maybe I should have put that in there. But either variant, if you're going to play it, please God, play the Turbo version.
Yes, I agree.
It's too slow. It doesn't respond well. It's not that it speeds the actual game up. It speeds the reaction times up of everything, and it speeds some of the moves, how they are pulled off faster. So it makes the gameplay faster. It doesn't actually speed the game up in any way. Yeah. It just makes the gameplay feel more fluent and more reactive, right? And that's the version everybody wants to play. So Street Fighter 2 Turbo, tons of time spent on this in my youth. Friends and I playing that. or me playing it at friends' houses, because at the time I actually had a Sega Genesis and I didn't have this game for that, so we played at a friend's house. And then I believe my uncle got it on his Super Nintendo, and I used to play it over there a lot. So yeah, and it spawned, hell, there's still tournaments for this game, dude. I mean, shit, crazy. It just got re-released on the Switch.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that tells you right there, how solid of a fighting game it is, how balanced it is. Yes, I know there's some characters that aren't, but it's pretty solid, and I really, really cannot recommend, if you need a good fighting game, old school style, pick you up Street Fighter 2 Turbo, man. Alpha, Matt, you're right. That's my fault. Yep. So I don't think I need to beat that one to death anymore. Everybody knows the damn game, but I feel like it deserved to be on the list regardless. Moving on to number 6. I had to put this on here. Matt, you had a variant of this. I like this one better than the second one just because I'm a sucker for originals, simply. I will secede that the second one plays better. But I got Donkey Kong Country, the original.
Such a good game. Phenomenal. So it was really one of its kind when it first came out.
I'll just say this. 3 words: pre-rendered graphics. What? Yeah. First time right there. You can thank Rare for that. A lot of people hate that. I was blown away. Matt, were you not blown away by how this game looked when you first saw it, like in Walmart?
Do you know? Well, let me ask you, do you remember Nintendo Power, right?
Fuck yeah, dude.
Do you remember the promo tape they sent out for this game?
So I'm aware of it. I never saw it, though, unfortunately.
I watched the hell out of it. My grandma got it, actually, and I would like take it from her and watch it over and over and over again because I was so excited about this game.
That's cool. I had forgotten about that. I remember that it came out and shit like that. I never saw it. What was it, like, just gameplay and shit, or what was it?
Yeah, just talking about the gameplay and showing the behind the scenes and how the designers, created Donkey Kong and like what they did. They studied monkeys and chimps and gorillas to...
No shit. Did they really?
Yep.
To get the motion and everything to be believable? Because it is believable.
To get the motions down, and yeah, man, you can watch it on YouTube now. It's so 90s when you watch it.
I know, dude, that's what I'm watching before I fall asleep tonight, dude. I'm going to watch that shit. I'm so excited now.
Like I said, I've seen it so many times. I loved it.
Damn, bro, I don't know how I haven't seen that. That's freaking sick. And I didn't know that about the real monkeys and everything. Now, what about the swordfish? Did they go and watch swordfish?
Probably not. I don't fucking know.
No, probably not. I don't think they swim that way. Or did they put monkeys on swordfish and watch them swim around? That's what I want to know. They did. I want to see that behind the scenes video.
Yeah.
But yeah, the nerd in me puts this there over the second one. Although I again, Matt, I think you're right. I think as a playable game and really ironed out physics and control, Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy Kong Quest is probably the superior game if you're looking for something to play. But in my heart, the first one has to take it for me, just because the nerd in me was floored by not only how beautiful the game looks, which some other games could pull off, but they lost the gameplay. But this game is a downright masterpiece. It really is. Check it out. I don't know how you could have missed this game. You living under a rock or what?
Oh my God, yeah. I don't know how you'd even miss this game, especially growing up with them.
If you missed it, stop listening right now. Get a copy. Play that shit. Resume.
Yeah.
So, but that's it. That's it for my number 6. Matt, before we get into the top 5, what's your number 6, playa?
My number 6 is Dragon Ball Z Legend of the Super Saiyan, or in Japanese it would be Dragon Ball Z Super Saiyajin Densetsu. That's
racist, Matt.
It is. So
you did that really well, actually.
So it was never a game that came out in America. It was pure Super Famicom game, and the reason I put this on the list is because when emulating was big back in the late 90s, early zeros or whatever, and this was one of the most popular downloaded games for the Super Nintendo, and I played the ever-living hell out of it. So, have you ever heard of this game, Butler?
heard of it. I've seen video on YouTube of it. Never played it. Don't know too much about it, but I respect your taste in video games. So for it to be that high on your list, it makes me really want to fucking play it, if I'm honest.
So I know they do have English translations of the game now, but when I was playing the game, it was in pure Japanese, so I had to guess my way through everything throughout the entire game. And basically the game, if you've seen the Dragon Ball series, you already know the story of the game. It takes place right at the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, where Goku's brother Raditz lands on Earth, and then it goes all the way through until the final battle with Goku fighting Frieza. And it's the best thing about it is it's an RPG too, so you can level up. One of the cool things that I really like that does change the storyline a little bit is when you're fighting the Saiyans Nappa and Vegeta, and you know how in the show everybody dies except like Gohan and Krillin and Goku. Mm-hmm. In the game, you can actually level up your character strong enough to where none of them will die. They're still not strong enough to beat Nappa or Vegeta. You still have to defend yourself until Goku shows up. But you can at least have Ten Shinhan, Chaozu, and Yamcha not die and go with you to Namek, which is
that is cool.
Which is really fucking useful because I've played the game where it was just Gohan and Krillin, and when you go to Namek, it is super fucking hard with 2 people. So when you have a whole team of people with you, it makes it easier. I mean, it's still really hard, but it's...
Well, I mean, that makes sense, you know?
I mean, of course, Piccolo still dies because he has to die, for the story.
The story, yeah. No. But I mean, it wouldn't be the story, or it'd be an alternate story. So I mean, I get that.
Yeah. So one of the unique things about this game that I love is the battle system. The battle system isn't your typical, choose fight, magic, and item. It goes by a card system. You can't build the card decks. You get random cards every time you do a fight, and you have to almost choose a card that relates to your character's symbol. Like each character has their own symbol on a card that relates to them to make their attacks more powerful. So, I mean, and eventually I learned, which person's symbol is which, and you try to choose that card. And but then the enemies you fight also have their own cards that make them powerful too. So it's sort of like a rock paper scissors battle system almost. And it's actually, and what's really cool is the fighting animations are full-fledged fighting animations. You'll see them do a bunch, kick some punches to each other, maybe do a Kamehameha, and you can also power up with Kaioken and Super Saiyan, when Goku gets
on the Super Nintendo. That's pretty fierce, man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a really good game. Like I said, there's probably English translations of it now. There's got to be by now.
So I'm not finding. All I'm finding is the actual Japanese cart. But something interesting. I was watching My Life in Gaming's newest episode last night, and they reviewed the UFO Pro 8 for the Super Nintendo, which is sort of like a Mega Drive. Like you can put an SD card in it and play games that way, like ROMs. But it also has the port on the top that you can insert like imports and stuff and play them on your US system. But the other thing you can do is it'll actually allow you to use the real Japanese game, and you can have like the translation on the SD card. Yeah. And it will actually play from the real game with the translation in place. Shit. Yeah, and these things are $45 new, the UFO 8, and it's, again, at the very least, you can just load your ROMs into it and play them on real hardware, which is cool. Oh, yeah. But it comes with like the disc to help you set it up, the transfer cable, all that stuff, everything you need. But you can do cool shit like play Dragon Ball Z on the real hardware with the real Japanese cart, but have it translated to English. And watching the game last night, I was thinking about it, like maybe, but this might be something I look into, man. Because I've never played this, and this sounds freaking killer, man. Like,
it's a lot of
get shit like that.
It's definitely, if you're a fan of Dragon Ball Z, period, you should play this game. The one thing is, be prepared for a lot of random encounters. It's one of those games. I mean, you got to remember back then in old school RPGs, there were shit tons of random encounters, and this is one of those games.
Bro, you're talking to a dude who's 26 hours deep into Final Fantasy IX right now. I live that random life, okay?
Oh, no, it makes Final Fantasy IX look like it barely has any random battles.
So is it like Final Fantasy II then? Is that what you're saying? Like that bad?
Yeah, where it's like
Like
oh, look.
one step.
Yeah, one step, boom. One step, boom. Yeah. I mean, the only time it gets that bad, honestly, is when you're exploring caves in the game in Dragon Ball Z.
Is that like dungeony, those caves? Like, is it real hard to remember? Like, is it Zelda / Final Fantasy II-esque? See, that's annoying when you're just trying to get somewhere and you can't even remember where you've gone or where you've been because it's just battle after battle. So annoying.
No, but that is my number 6. Love it. I've played it so many times. I really wish they made a sequel to it to where it continued on with the Cell games and Majin Buu, but I don't know why they didn't. Maybe this game didn't sell a lot in Japan, and that's why they didn't do it. So,
I want this so hard. I really do. Pretty cool, man.
So I guess now it's time to get into the top 5. Top 5.
Top 5.
And we'll go into my top 5 first, or my number 5 first, I mean. And that is
strongest games right here.
Yeah, these are like the top of the top games for both of us here for Super Nintendo. And coming in at number 5 for me is Super Mario World. And
delicious.
I still remember to this day when my parents bought the Super Nintendo and this was the first game, and it blew my mind in terms of graphics because it was such a jump going from Mario 3 to Mario World.
Oh, so colorful too. So many colors.
That too. Very, very colorful. It didn't feel so monotone and bleak and dreary, which, I mean, Mario 3 was colorful, but there were parts, the colors didn't pop out as much.
Well, you got to remember, it can only put so many colors on screen at once, right, on the NES, so that, you know, I don't even know the multiplier of how many more you can put on the Super Nintendo, but it's not even close. Yeah.
And the one thing that this game spawned for me was not only my love for video games, but my love for trying to design games too. Because I remember going to school and just designing my own Mario levels for hours, and while I should have been paying attention, you know, to the teacher or whatever. I remember I had whole notebooks full of Mario levels.
Did you use like graph paper?
No, just regular line paper.
Dude, that's really awesome. I never knew that you did that. That's pretty cool. I've done that a few times in the past as well. Like, so you just have like this just was it just like, did you do it all on one page? You do multiple pages? I did the multiple page. Like, I'd have it continue to the next page and shit.
When I did everything landscape, not portrait. Like when I did. So, yeah, I'm sure there were some that went longer on pages. I don't remember exactly, but it was, I just remember filling out, you know, pages after pages of doing this stuff.
So when we got Super Mario Maker, that was like really huge for you then.
Oh yeah,
like,
it was
throwback.
Like,
I mean, like to your childhood and shit.
Yeah, it was like a dream come true. Like, I've always wanted something like this, you know. Where there were programs on the computer where you could make your own Mario levels. There was a huge community for it. I think it was called Lunar or something like that. And I got really into that little community back when I was a kid. And it was sort of, you know, thinking like Mario Maker on the computer pretty much, but with a mouse and keyboard. And
which would make life a lot easier, by the way.
And it was actually cool because you could also edit the overworld too, to where you could design your own world map as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It got pretty deep, but
how did I not know about this?
I don't know if you were into the whole modding community. I think it was called Lunar.
Apparently not.
Yeah, Lunar Mario World. Oh yeah. Fusoya's Nietzsche Lunar Magic Super Mario World Editor Introduction. Here, I'll put a link in it.
Well, at least it's a short title.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the program I use, Lunar Magic, for making Mario World levels. It was only for Mario World. You couldn't do it in any other Mario game.
Oh shit. Look at that.
Yep, there was a whole community around this too. There was a really popular message board called ACMLM that was really big into making, you know, their own
Ooh,
Mario
Miyamoto
hacked.
wanted to sue somebody over this shit.
This
Damn.
is probably before Nintendo didn't even know what the internet was.
Good point. This is crazy. It really is. It's Mario Maker before Mario Maker, and this, I kind of want to end myself for not knowing about this, because this is insane. I'm looking at all these screenshots, dude. This is freaking sick.
It is. But I mean, what more can I really say about Mario World that hasn't already been said? It's one of the best Mario games out there. The level design of Mario World is, really top notch, bar none. And it's, one of the best Super Nintendo games out there,
Guaranteed. I agree.
Yeah, so that is my number 5. Let's go on to your number 5 now.
Okie dokie. So we don't actually have to spend too much time on this, because I think we already did. But my number 5 is Super Mario Kart.
It's an okay game. It's okay.
I mean, it's all right. I don't agree with where Matt landed it on his list, but I'm glad that it made it to his list. We talk about this a lot. The only thing that I will say is that this is my second favorite Mario Kart. To this day, I have this shit on the GameCube. I'm sorry, on the Wii, on the Wii U. I jailbroke my phone at one point to be able to play it on my phone, to which I'm pretty sure either my identity got stolen or all my information got stolen. One of the two. No joke.
Oh wow.
One day my phone literally wiped itself one day. So anyways, but yeah, so a lot of history with that. Love it very much. It's really well balanced. There's only a couple characters I won't play with. But for the most part, phenomenal. But Matt, look, let's go ahead and hear your number 4. I don't need to beat Mario Kart to death anymore.
Well, no, it goes on to your number 4 now.
Oh, you want to keep doing that way? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, no worries. My number 4, this is just, I don't know. There's probably better beat 'em ups than this on the system that I would even. I would probably agree that there's deeper ones for sure, or ones that might be a little bit better. But in my heart, and this is my list, so whatever, I do what I want. It's not your list. You can have your own list, whoever you are. Okay, but this is my list. Is Turtles in Time. I played this game in the arcade first. I actually didn't even learn about being on the Super Nintendo until a little bit later on, which blew my mind when I found out, because I actually had a Super Nintendo at this point. I've said before in the past that I got the Super Nintendo a little bit later.
Yeah.
I was more of a Sega kid and things like that. But when I did get it, this was like the third game that I had on the Super Nintendo, because I just loved the arcade one so much, and so did my friends. And literally, Matt, it was like, if I had people spend the night, it was, where's Turtles in Time? Like, that's what we're going to do. And we did. I remember playing that till the sun came up before, as a kid. And
always on hard mode, right?
Well, yeah, dude. Come on. I was a kid. I wasn't a noob.
Yeah.
Well, no. The reason why, though, to that, truthfully, is because when you play it in the arcade, it's on the hardest possible mode to try to steal your quarters. So putting it in a shittier, easier mode just didn't feel right, on the console. But you can turn it down if you suck. You can turn it down if you need to. But Turtles in Time, great use of color, great use of graphics, really, really good port. A lot of times you get shitty ports, from arcade games, especially in the 16-bit era. Lord knows there's tons of them that did not make the transition very well. This was not one of them. It does very good. It's very true to the arcade version. You're even throwing Foot Clan at Shredder from his point of view. Just like in the arcade. Yep. It's really good. Is there slowdown? Less than you would think? Shockingly less than you would think. I think some other programmers should have taken a page out of this game's book, because there are games with far less going on with a lot more slowdown than this game has. But yeah, really good. My son is absolutely nuts for this game. It was one of the first like co-op old school games that we ever played together. He was little, didn't even know how to hold the remote type thing. So both of us, it's really, really near and dear to our hearts. I will play this game forever. Some people say there's not a lot of replay value. it's a beat 'em up. What are you looking for? You're either into it or you're not.
Secret levels or anything like that.
No, there's not. You're not going to beat it and all of a sudden, April comes out and her, she's wearing a bikini or something. Like, that's not going to happen, so that's fine. But, Matt, I know you're a fan of this game as well. In fact, you beat it. Was it a challenge, or did you just do it just to do it when we first started the podcast? Because I remember you streamed you playing it.
No, yeah, it was for one of the challenges for one of the early episodes.
It was. So there you go. Matt is absolute pro status at that. So.
Oh, yeah, I love this game. It was definitely a game where I rented it a lot. I've never owned this game, but I've rented it so many times. And then plus with emulating, I've emulated it so many times as well too.
Yeah, emulation is the way I've usually gone with it. I still don't own a copy. I got Hyperstone Heist on the Genesis currently. It's a little different. Some of the levels are a little different. It's not the same. It plays the same. It looks the same. It's a different game. But emulation as well. I haven't had, like I said, I had it a long time ago. Wish I would have kept it. I didn't. Yeah. But hey, if you have to emulate this one, you just want to play a beat 'em up, it's totally worth it. Totally worth doing. And emulating it might get rid of some of the slowdown, so it might even be better in that instance if you're playing with multiple people or something. So pretty cool. Check it out.
Yeah, definitely.
Matthew, what are you gonna have for number 4?
Number 4. Coming in at number 4 is The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. If we ever did like a Zelda ranking, this would probably come in top
number 1.
30.
You're correct. Yes, number 1.
No.
You're right, Matt. That's correct.
No, not number 1. It would not be my number 1 Zelda. I've already told you what my number 1 Zelda is, and you've never played it before.
And it's A Link to the Past. I know, Matt. I remember very well. Thank you.
It's Link's Awakening, but no. Like I said, it would see if we had to do a top 10 Zelda, it would be number 2 would either be this one or The Legend of Zelda. That would be really hard for me. But just going on this game for the Super Nintendo, this game, when it came out, it blew my mind away. The opening scene, just as soon as you walk out that door of the house and it's pouring down rain, just the graphics of that was just insane to me. Because
coming off the NES Zelda to that, my god, having environmental conditions, man.
Yeah, and it was such a vast world to explore too. Now, while we play the game now, the world seems so small, especially when you compare it to Breath of the Wild. But back then, that game seemed huge, and there were 2 versions of the world to explore too. You had the light world and the dark world, and it was
that's a good point. So it is essentially 2 maps. But keep in mind too, even though it doesn't seem as physically large, dude, it takes a while to traverse that place. Like, if you need to go back for anything, like, it still's going to take you a while.
Yeah, it will. And all the dungeons are really well thought out. I mean, I recently played through the game maybe like a year or 2 ago and beat it. And there's still some of the dungeons just made me go, I can't remember where to go, And it's really good design there. It has the right amount of difficulty. It's not too hard, but it's not too easy. And
it's not brutal. It's not overly punishing. Like, you're going to die, but it's all right. You're going to get through it.
Yeah, yep. It's not like The Legend of Zelda 2 brutal difficulty at Link's Adventure.
I hate that game.
Yeah,
I hate that game.
But no, overall, it's just a really fun game. It's definitely a game I've gone back and played it many times, and I still will continue to go back to it many times and play it. Like I said before, it's definitely one of the top Zeldas ever made, and it's one of the best Super Nintendo games ever made as well, too.
This was released on the Advance, wasn't it? Game Boy Advance?
Yep, and I've got it.
Do you really?
Yeah, the one thing I don't like with it is, all the graphics are the same, but they add in some different sound effects. Like when Link is doing one of the circle slash or he's jumping, they add in the screaming or the sound that he does, like on the 64.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. But for other than that, it's the same game.
GBA. Let's see. Come on, internet. Matt, are you still there? Okay.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Apparently, eBay searching that almost took my internet down.
eBay does.
Yeah, eBay. I mean, sealed is $80. Looks like it's about $15, $10. Yeah, $15 for a real cart shipped.
Which is
cool.
not bad at all.
That's totally fair. Yeah. Damn, I would love to play that on the go. I need to pick up a good little Game Boy Advance like the one you got, man. That would be a fun game to have with you.
Oh yeah, for sure. So that is Zelda. Coming in at my number 3, we're getting to the top here. Some of the best Super Nintendo games, and this was
the only games you should really own, if we're honest.
Yeah, this was a hard game because my number 3 and my number 2 they're almost interchangeable. And if I
really don't believe that your number 2 is what it is, by the way.
And my number 3 is one of the best time travel games that has ever been made, and that's Chrono Trigger. And it is, if you've never played Chrono Trigger, do yourself a favor, go download it. I don't care if you emulate it. I don't care if you go buy it. It's also on the Nintendo DS, and Square will still do holiday sales and still sell this game. I last saw it for like a spring sale or like an Easter sale for $5 or $10, brand new for the DS. And
that's insane, by the way. That's how can you not pass that up? I mean, how can you pass that up? That's just
I mean, the game is basically about, there's an alien creature that came, landed on Earth, millions of years ago and destroys the world at 1999. And it's your job to go and time travel around and figure out a way to stop this alien creature from destroying the world. And so you meet a lot of people. There's a lot of cool events that if you do something in the past, it changes something that happens in the future. The
butterfly effect, they call that, right?
Yeah, and just it really...
How cool is that a game from the 16-bit era does that? Like, that is freaking cool.
And there's just a great cast of characters in it. And it's just all around awesome. I love this game to death. And it like I mentioned before with Zelda, I can go back and play this game many times, and I really do need to play it on the DS. I do have the DS version because apparently they added some new content to it, and I haven't played it yet though.
Well, that's cool. So you've got that waiting for you. An old classic with something new ready for you waiting. So nothing wrong with that. That's cool, man.
Yeah. So what is your number 3?
So my number 3 is better than your number 3 because it's The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. Boom. That's right. I like it more than Matt, just for the record. This is my number 1 Zelda game of all time. All the other Zeldas can eat it. This makes them all they might as well not even exist. They shouldn't even try. Okay. Yep. As far as Zeldas go, you've heard me talk about the stupid new one on the Switch, and I like it a lot. I don't think it's the best Zelda game. No, I like it a lot. It's a good new current game that's out. It might be one of the best current games that's out, but it's not the best Zelda. Matt, I don't think you'll fight me on that. But you will probably fight me that it's not the best Zelda, or that Link to the Past is the best one. I think it is. Matt doesn't. Whatever. I want to point out, Matt, when you were talking about this game, when it first came on and it kind of blew you away and like the rain and all that stuff. But playing this game now, especially like on a Super Nintendo, the sounds, how quintessential are the sounds to not only Zelda, but to the Super Nintendo. They have that very Super Nintendo-y kind of like, chiptune type sound and all that. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like the way the horns sound in the song and stuff like that is so Super Nintendo that to me it screams everything that's Super Nintendo.
Yeah, you're right about that. I guess I didn't think of it like that.
Sound is one of the things that is like, it's like the second strongest memory thing tied to memory behind smell. And I don't know, when I hear that shit boot up, I'm just, every time, man, it gets me. It's like I know I'm playing Super Nintendo. I get excited. And like you said, man, the world was huge. The graphics were great at the time. I mean, they're, obviously it's not a modern game, but I still think that they're fine. You can clearly see everything that's going on.
Yeah.
You know what each object is, It had all the stuff that you wanted Zelda to have, and I don't mean what Zelda 2 had. In my mind, that game could pretty much never exist, and I'd be fine with it. You've got to find, there's secrets, there's the dungeons, you got to have bombs to blow up pathways and to, blow up rocks to go a certain way. All these things that you've come to expect, but yet it did a whole new twist on it, it built on top of it. Story's good. I love this Zelda. This is my jam. When it came out, I think I was in, I was in elementary school for sure. And a friend had it. It was the first time I played it, and he was just blown away by how long it took for me to die. And this was his game, and I had never played it, And I think that says a lot, that somebody that hasn't played it can jump on it. And like you spoke to the difficulty, it's not too hard, it's not easy either, but it's just right, So,
Yep.
but yeah, that's gonna be my number 3, man, solidly, and my number 1 Zelda by a long shot.
We can fight on that, but it's good.
Yeah. So wow, we're coming into number 2 territory, huh?
Oh yeah.
It's already? Okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and with a game that I feel like should be on everybody's list. I think that Matt, I won't even beat you up over where you put this on your list. But it was tough for me to choose between number 1 and number 2, and this game made number 2, and that is Final Fantasy III, also known as Final Fantasy VI to the rest of the world. Final Fantasy III was our U.S. garbage because we got skipped on a few. But Final Fantasy VI here in the U.S.
It's okay.
It's okay. Yeah, I mean, it's
okay.
If you're into that sort of thing, if you like, a good story in a game and stuff like that. No, all jokes aside, this game is, God, I'm really digging Final Fantasy IX, and I loved 7 and all that, but most of my Final Fantasy memories come from this game, from Final Fantasy VI. Almost all of them come from this game. This was the first one I played. This one, it set the standard for RPGs. Like, seriously, like, if there was at the time, if somebody was like, oh, this is kind of like Final Fantasy, if it was, inferior in the slightest way, I couldn't even stand it, because this game did set the bar so damn high. I mean, now granted, when you first, and I think we've talked about this, but like, you see the mechs and stuff, and granted, you don't get them for very long. But dude, what game on a console was letting you have a mech, or airships, or any of this stuff, and it was cool too, like the animations when you're fighting, granted, I mean, eventually they're going to get old, like any turn-based RPG, but they were great at the time. It blew your mind, I mean, coming from garbage that was on the Master System and the NES, as far as role-playing games go, this was a very, very next level effort. You had the items, your magic, your abilities, what do you want to call it? It was great. The writing for the story was awesome. It kept you sucked in. You wanted to continue on, even though you have to get through these random battles. Like, you wanted to know what was going to happen next. The music, the iconic music from when you win, in a battle. This is where it was all ingrained in me. It was this game. And this is again a game that's not only high up on my list for this system, but it is currently, at the moment, until future dethroning, it is my favorite Final Fantasy game by a long shot. Matt, I don't know if you have anything that you want to add to that, but without any further ado, if you want to jump into your number 2, please, by all means, sir.
Yeah, let me get into my number 2, because I've got more to say about Final Fantasy, and I'll get there. Okay. My number 2, and I think I heard you scoff earlier at something, but it is Super Mario RPG: The Legend of the Seven Stars. Have you played this game?
No, I have. I don't. It doesn't even make my top 10, dude. I don't know. Go on, please. Maybe you'll change my mind. You have great taste in games.
It is
it's not my top 10, dude.
When I first heard that they were going to make Mario an RPG, it was first more of a, wait, what? Huh? I didn't understand what was happening. And
like I remember thinking that's a stretch.
Yeah. But when I actually finally got the game and played it, I think I rented it first before I actually bought it. It blew me away at how fun the game was and how simple it was, but yet could still be a little bit deep. I recently just watched a video about, the gameplay mechanics of Mario RPG and how it is probably one of the most attentive RPG games you can currently play even now, or especially even during Super Nintendo, because when you think of a common RPG game, you have a menu that you select through in a battle system, and you choose fight, magic, item, whatever, and you choose the command, and boom, that's it. That's all you have to do. With Mario RPG, it had the genius idea that you still have to be, keep watching the battle and be more involved in the battle with the timed hits, where if you want to go punch a Hammer Brothers in the face, you have to do extra damage, you have to do a timed hit in terms of you have to watch the animation of Mario or Mallow or Geno.
Yeah, there was real time interaction required. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what made it really, really interesting. And not only that, but the story was interesting too. It wasn't your common, Bowser took Princess away, and it started off like, you got to go rescue the princess, but then this giant sword falls from the sky, breaks the star road, and you got to collect the 7 stars. And what also made it really unique was Bowser was a good guy for the first time ever in this game as well.
You know what? I forgot about that. You're absolutely right. He was. This game, I think what makes it good, the only thing that makes it a good RPG being Mario is the fact that Square developed it, but instead of just handing it completely over to Square, Miyamoto was very much involved. Yeah. And he kept the Mario essence of it. So, I respect it for that.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those games. It's an RPG that doesn't take you very long, and it's an RPG you don't have to grind in either. I mean, you can very well grind levels in the game, but it sort of almost kind of ruins the challenge of the game as well. I mean,
so you're saying it's meant to be played linear, like just play it through as you come across shit, you should be able to accomplish your goal. Is that what you're saying, without having to grind?
In a sense, I mean, the one thing when you're going through the world map and going through new places, I mean, you want to explore everything in the map, and that may entail, having to fight all the enemies on that one map. But I mean, you can grind. I've definitely played the game where I grinded, and it just made the game super easy. And this
game came out very late in the Super Nintendo's lifespan, didn't it?
Yeah, it came out like 94, 95, I think.
I haven't Googled it, but I do remember it being like right before you started seeing shit for Mario 64.
96.
96. So actually, yeah, super close to the 64 launch. But, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm looking at screenshots right now, and this game looks great. I mean, it's a lot of pre-rendered stuff, but, that's what they did at the time. And it looks really good, and it shows. And the best looking games always come out, not surprisingly, at the end of a system's life. So graphically, I mean, it was great. It looked good, man, especially coming off of a 33 megahertz processor. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I've played this game so many times. I love it back to front. I mean, I really, really wish they would have made a sequel to it. I mean, we do have the Paper Mario games, but I was never a fan of Paper Mario. I played the first one on the 64, beat it, and the 64 one was pretty much a rehash of the Super Nintendo, but without all the Squaresoft characters like Geno and Mallow.
Oh, they were stripped out?
Yeah, and the story, and instead of a giant sword falling, it was Bowser kidnapped Princess Peach, and he had to go rescue her.
I'm looking at this gameplay stuff of the Super Mario RPG, man, and it's really phenomenal that it's not polygons. It's all pre-rendered stuff, but
Yeah.
I mean, the pre-rendered backgrounds, granted their size a little bit smaller than what was possible on the PS1, but I mean, if Mario, God, I mean, he's pre-rendered and he looks almost 3D. I mean, this is almost PS1 quality graphics for this 16-bit. I mean, it's really amazing what they pulled off. It really is. People that aren't fans of the isometric view that this game has, as a whole will hate it, but I think hands down this is actually one of those games that's completely tolerable and you don't notice the fact that it's isometric because you don't have a problem getting to where you need to be, which is always the problem with an isometric game is you don't know exactly where you're standing, right? But this game is regarded as one of the only games to actually do it right, and many games are compared to this one when it comes to getting isometric views right. So pretty cool there too. Again, Matt, it didn't make my top 10, but I do have respect for it and I do have some knowledge on it. And, I can see why you like it for sure.
Yeah. I mean, as you can tell, my list is heavily RPG'd, because that is the major genre that I played back in the day. So now we get to our number ones, and I'll start first with my number one because it was the same as your number two, and that is Final Fantasy VI or Final Fantasy III. And I've said this many times throughout the cast, and I've said it many times on Magic with Zuby and So Your Father's a Nerd. This is my all-time favorite video game ever, and I have not come close to a game that's been able to top this. And I can remember first renting this game. And, you start off with the mechs, you go in the snow and Narsh and all that. And then I remember when I bought this game, it had to have been with birthday money. It was like a game that I got so engrossed in that, I actually leveled up to level 99, like manually in that game.
Didn't this game cost more too? Wasn't this a more expensive game?
Oh, yeah. I remember paying $80 at Toys R Us for it.
That dude, 90s money, that's like paying over 200 or damn close, what I mean, for a game nowadays. Like, that's no joke, man.
And it was worth every single penny of it, and it was the first Final Fantasy I beat, and I have gone back and played the game many, many times. It's one of the few games, and I'm sure it's a lot different nowadays, but it's one of the few games and few Final Fantasies where the bad guy actually succeeds in destroying the world. Spoiler
alert.
Yeah. So much is for a 24-year-old game or whatever.
Yeah.
Or 23-year-old game, whatever. But
even knowing that, it's still worth seeing it unfold and happen if you haven't. Like, no, I agree. And I almost put this game as number one as well. I actually saw your list before mine, and I was like, oh, thank God. So honestly, that's one of the reasons why I didn't put it as my number one. Matt, it's such a good game. It's such a good RPG. It's got everything that an RPG, especially a classic RPG. I mean, I feel like this set the standard, didn't it? Like, things had to measure up to this.
Yeah, in a sense, it
for
did.
A bit, at least,
I mean, it really, for a long time, Final Fantasy VII overshadowed this game for a very long time.
Okay,
but as time has gone on,
sure.
Yeah.
But look at how many things 7 gets from 6 or 3, whatever you want to call it. I mean, like the way the menus are laid out, the battle system, like all that stuff. Yeah, I mean.
Final Fantasy VI was actually the first game to have limit breaks too. It was the first game to introduce it. And I mean, there's just so many things that can be said about this game. Like I said, as time has gone on, this has become the fan favorite of the game, and I'm actually playing it again on the iPhone right now. I didn't want to put it in the games I've been playing right now because we're going to be talking about it anyway. But
True.
Like I said, I consider it my favorite video game of all time. I've played through it so many times that I've done literally everything you can. I've tried every which combination of characters. My two favorite characters are Edgar and Sabin, the two brothers.
Yep. And, I play heavily with them as well. Yep.
And I just love the game. I don't know what more can be said. I mean, the story's great. It's a classic story of good versus evil. And what there is another unique thing about this game I forgot to mention. There's no main character in this game. You could make an argument that the first half of the game focuses heavily on Terra, which it does. Yeah. And then the second half of the game focuses on Celis, or Cells, however you say it. And it's also a game that also was really emotionally deep because it dealt with thoughts of suicide and death, because
very edgy. You're right. I didn't even think of that. Very edgy for its time.
And because that sort of stuff was completely taboo back in the 90s, you wouldn't even talk about stuff like that. But when the whole world gets destroyed and you're only playing as the character Celis, she thinks she's on this island, and she thinks everybody in the entire world is dead, and everyone that she loved and cared about is dead. And so they actually show her trying to commit suicide, but she fails.
Oh shit, that's right.
Yeah, and
I'm trying to see. This is before the games were rated, so I would feel like this would be at least teen nowadays.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, like I said, that's my all-time favorite Super Nintendo game, all-time favorite video game, period. And fight me on that.
No, there's no need for me to fight you on that. You're in good company here. But if anybody wants to fight Matt,
just give me a few months to get in shape. All right, I'm not in fighting shape right now, so
just bring a shovel to the fist fight, you'll win.
Yeah. All right, let's go to your number one now.
So my number one, it's the best number one. It's the only number one that even matters ever, and that is Super Mario World. God, it sounds cliche, right? That the game that everybody knows from Super Nintendo, the pack-in game for a while.
What game is this again?
Yeah. It sounds crazy, right? That I'm gonna pick that, but Matt, I for a while this was the only game that I had on the system. Okay, so that right there tells you that I have a lot of time in this game. But this is a game that I play multiple times a year, and I have since I first got my hands, since my friends had this game, or since my uncle had this game. I mean, without doubt, I replay this game multiple times, all the time. This game is absolutely, and I don't use this lightly, I'm not using it as a figure of speech. This game is an actual masterpiece. It is. In its design, in its execution, in its balance. I mean, think about just the way that the world map was done, right? Like, every area is themed. And, a lot of times things that, especially until this game, when you're in a certain section of a world on a map and you go in, the levels don't always accurately represent that. But Nintendo really nails it. And I don't mean the way it looks. I mean the damn enemies that you're fighting and how they behave, like in caves, shit crawling on the ceilings. Like, it's like, it's genius. It's these little details like that just really hammer it home for me. I mean, you had new modern style items and how they're introduced here. They don't always use the same items in every Mario. I mean, I know the fire power has made it through quite a few of them, but but some of the same concepts, the flying, things like that. Yeah, I know that was sort of introduced with Mario 3, but
but you had a cape this time.
The cape, right, and the mechanics of that, how you could keep yourself flying. You didn't have to have the P power, maxed out, whatever you want to call it there. The underwater levels were so much better and advanced and just so thought out compared to what we
hate water levels.
Yeah, like on 3, they just made them frustrating for the point of being frustrating. Whereas this, I mean, there's hidden things everywhere. There's multiple exits to certain levels. There's even clues like, if you have a red dot, that means there's multiple exits, on the map. If there's a red dot level, like these were things that,
Is that what it meant?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I guess I never realized.
Yeah, no, that's what it means. There's multiple exits, and this was where the haunted houses were introduced, and also one thing I got to point out, and I know it's probably a hardware limitation thing, but like if you compare Super Mario Bros. 3, which is widely regarded as like the birth of modern Mario, and I wouldn't fight that. I mean, I love that game. I played it a lot as a youngster too, but like the levels are very, very short. If you play that game now, like those levels are like a blink of an eye. And I don't know if we're just so used to longer content and levels and things like that nowadays, but if you compare Super Mario Bros. 3 to Super Mario World, the length and the detail and the levels and all that and the things to do in each one, it's a whole nother world. It's a whole nother game. It's not even close. We can talk about the graphics and the use of color. That's one thing about Nintendo themselves as a developer, and even to this day, they aren't afraid to use color. If anybody's a developer out there, stop with the washed out or dark everything. I can't. I literally can't. Like, I want to see the color pop. Like, I really do. It's a freaking video game. Okay. Even hyper realistic video games have this tendency to put like a dramatic filter over the lens of the camera, and it's like, I don't need that. Like, show me it. Like, clarity. But anyways, yeah, Super Mario World. Yoshi came from this. Okay, this is where riding on Yoshi came from, and doing, and he was phenomenal. He was flawless. There were levels that were tailored to him. There were levels that you couldn't use him in. There were levels where you would lose him immediately. It was almost like they knew you were going to try to come in and cheat the level with Yoshi, so they made it so you had to bail on him. And it's just, this detail is throughout from end to end. Now, I actually have looked into the development of this game quite a bit, and actually it was sort of rushed, which hearing that sort of broke my heart. Yeah, no, it was. And hearing that sort of broke my heart. Yeah, because they wanted it at launch. Because it felt so polished to me my whole life. And to hear that, I've always preached like, they need to spend time like they do on this. But really, it kind of came back around full circle. It's like, well, look, if they're being rushed and they came out with something like this, what's that say? So again, I guarantee everybody's played this game. If you haven't, you're at least aware of it. It is my favorite Mario as far as like side-scrolling Marios go. I prefer it to any of the newer ones. I think that the level design, like if you compare it to new Mario Bros. On the Wii and the Wii U and all that, new Super Mario Bros. Or whatever it's called, some of that stuff just feels like filler, and you can breeze through parts of it and stuff like that. Like, much. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't have like where everything was in its place for a reason feeling. Am I explaining that right? I don't know how to put it, but and maybe it's just me. I don't know, but that's why I like it. That is my favorite game on the system. It's my favorite Mario. Is there stuff I put more time into or I come back to as well as frequently? Sure, there is. But this game, it really gets it for me on the system, and I didn't just pick it just to be cliche or to, because it's the most well known or anything like that. I truly do enjoy this. You can ask my wife. She does too. I don't know that it's her favorite, but I know it's one of her go-tos. And, her and I have even played this game, all the way through before together. So, but yeah, so that's it for my list. That's my number one. I won't bore anybody with any more of that. Tell us what you guys think. Tell us what your favorite games are on the system. Let us know. Send us a tweet, email us, Facebook, something. Let us know what you think. Tell us if we're wrong. You want to fight? Let me know.
We'll give you our address.
Yes, you can come to my house. I'll give you a Capri Sun, and then we can fight. So
sounds good.
But yeah, I mean, it sounds like a good time. But yeah, no. Jokes aside and everything. Matt, it was kind of cool to have the 2 top 10 lists because there's no way I could put everything in. There's just so many. There's games you had like Secret of Mana, Harvest Moon. These are games I really want on my list, but it was great because it's kind of like we got to have a top 20 and just call it a top 10.
Yeah, pretty much.
so yeah, Matt, what have you got for us, brother? Closing thoughts.
Super Nintendo's awesome.
It is. It's better than Genesis, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Fuck Genesis kids. God, they sucked.
Whoa. Matt likes the Genesis guys before you haul off, but it is superior. And if you don't think it is, you're you're only living in a dream. On this has been debated throughout time, and I love Genesis, and honestly, I've been playing it.
I do too. I just like talking shit.
Yeah, I know. But I do, Matt, I do think there's a better variety of games and a better availability of each genre of game on the Super Nintendo, though. I mean, just fact. At least, sure. So. But anyways, so that's it, guys. Matt, you okay with us calling it on this one?
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. I'm dying here.
It's crazy late, dude. We're going to die tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
I still got to edit this thing and put it up. So, all right, everybody. Thanks, everyone, for listening. We really appreciate it. Like, subscribe, comment, tell us everything. Matt did a really good job. He typed up all of our actual contact information, and we put it in the description now. So you don't have to deal with me trying to guess what my Twitter handle is anymore. You can just get it right in the description of the episode. So thank you, Matt. But yeah, that's about it for me. And Matt, where can they find you?
Twitter at Zubatron, Zubatron. I've also got 2 other podcasts, Magic with Zuby, where if you like Magic the Gathering, I wouldn't listen to me, but
hey, look, I'm not the biggest Magic fan. I enjoy them. I've listened to your recent episode actually the other day in the car, so cool. Very well done. Yep.
And then I also have another one where I do with my buddy Alex, So Your Father's a Nerd, A Family's Guide to Nerdism, where we talk about everything nerdy. Our last episode, we actually did our own top 10 DC supervillains, and we're going to do top 10 Marvel supervillains next.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool.
My number one for my top 10 DC was very, very interesting, and it got a lot of eyebrows from Alec. Or raised eyebrows, I should say. Like,
so there you go. If you want more reasons to fight Zuby, I guess you need to listen to that episode so you have some grounds to fight on. You know what I'm saying? Great. All right. You can find us, of course, facebook.com/VCR Gaming, Twitter at VCR Gaming. Our email is vcrgamingpodcast@gmail.com. We are on iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher. Please tell your friends. I am, of course, am Matt, also Killabeez. You can get me on Twitter at KILLABEEZZ2T. And just Killabeez on PSN. So thanks, everybody, for listening. That's it. Matt, what do you got?
That's it. I'm good.
Cool. All right, everybody. Have a great one.
All right. Have a good one, guys.